Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is blah blah blah. International Master Bin Chang once again, and I just finished up that game against 1900, and now I'm gonna do another commentary. This one is basically just a game that I was looking at earlier, while I was waiting for the game, and this is with these two guys, Korbov and Alexenko. Now I'm gonna get to the end position pretty soon. We're just gonna breeze through past some of the game, and I'm just trying to show you how this game happened and how Korbov actually lost the game. It was actually quite surprising, I would say, because the game itself wasn't actually that special. Like Alexander didn't really do anything special. He just kind of tried to close the position up, tried to play for a draw. Korbov kind of pushed things a bit too much, but he was actually already a bit worse. So that's kind of a bit surprising. So right before we get to the part, let's just explain this position here. First of all, this is actually a really nice move order for block if you want to kind of avoid certain lines that white has. For example, black would never get this d6 e5 f5 structure if white was play, let's say, c4 e5. Like if white were to play d4 on move 1, he would never be able to get this kind of position in like that. So by playing c4, black's actually able to kind of surprise his opponent into playing to this line. And I've actually had the displeasure myself of facing this line before. And it's actually surprisingly difficult to play against this system. When I played this system, I played d3, and my opponent played knight f6, g3, and he actually went bishop b7. That's actually quite strong. The normal move is g6 here. But there's actually no point playing g6 in these positions, because when you play g6, you're playing like a Dutch. Like, I mean, not Dutch, but like a close Sicilian, kind of reverse close Sicilian, play for f4 kind of stuff. But bishop e7 is actually really strong. The idea here is that basically, black is just going to mate you. He's going to play this move. Oh, sorry, my arrow's bad. He's going to play this move and just mate you. And if you try b4, well, unfortunately, there's really nothing there for you to attack. So you just go queen h5, and I mean, I don't know. Some of these moves Houdini's recommending is kind of very suspicious. Like h4, like this is a move you don't really want to make. Rook b1 doesn't really hit anything, and this is a very dangerous looking attack. Houdini might think it's better for white, but I'm not quite sure about this position. I feel like these are some of those most dangerous lines that you can go against. Like against this kind of setup, I love to go like this. If they play like this against me next time, this is what I would do. I'll play g3, they play f5, they can go here, let's go here, and then go e3. This is just such a strong system, because against this, it's not as good anymore, because now white can play d3. First of all, it's not for queen e8. He doesn't castle yet, nor does he have to. He can just play b3, bishop b2, queen e2. This is kind of like the Hikaru Nakamura kind of position here that he plays before. And this is actually simple, very simple. It doesn't really put you in any type of position that you don't want to be before you're ready for it. And it kind of helps that you're not really going to get made here in these lines. Like if he plays queen h5, you can always play f4. As long as you haven't played bishop b2 yet, knight g4 is not going to just destroy you. So, that's just my personal preference. That's something that I like to do myself. And this is a position that I don't like to play too much d4, because I'm not quite sure what white's plan in these lines is. I mean, this is a theoretical line, that's true, but personally, I'm not a big fan of this position. And at this point, I think the best move here is not to move this pawn at all. It's either, I think Houdini is actually completely correct here. You don't really want to play that move yet. You don't really want to play d5. You don't really want to kind of put your pawn d5 and take away the square away from your d5 knights. And I think bishop 2 is actually better, but I'm not quite sure why. Like for example, let's say knight c6, you can just castle, because if let's say black does something, the thing is black can't really play any real moves here, because if he tries let's say b6 maybe. I can play b3, you can be bishop b2, and if I play this, let's say bishop b7, then knight e6 is obviously winning, so that's something that you can't do. But unfortunately, I don't know what else like black can do in this position. Because if I play g5 here, I think that knight d5 here is just very strong. And I think that black just opened up his position a bit more, and I feel like black's probably a bit worse in these line lines. But again, I'm no expert in this position, so if I'm completely wrong, and you know this line yourself, you played this before, you can definitely correct me on this. No idea what I'm talking about, obviously. So, just my personal preferences, and also just using Houdini as a cheat thing. That's kind of what you gotta do. You gotta kind of use Houdini as well. You can't it's impossible to just analyze it with your own mind. Houdini is just so much more useful, and of course, with a name like Houdini, how can he be wrong? So, no, he can't lie. So yeah, d5, not a big fan of. Now, partly was because his evaluation is kind of nuts, but also because I'm not quite sure what white's plan is now. Because in chess you need to have a plan. You gotta have a plan of action. You can't just kind of assume your opponent's going to blunder. Like g5 is a move that they recommend, but I hate g5. Like I don't know why Houdini would ever play a position like this. This is sometimes you gotta use your brain and figure out if it's a good idea or not. Obviously, in this position, I don't think it's a good idea. So g5 definitely not the best situation here. That's why I like knight e6, just to cover this square. So now it goes h2, c7, blah blah blah, h4. So this just stop g5. I'm not. I mean, I guess like you could stop g5 in this case. If you castle here, I mean, he could play g5 here. But I can't think white can just go to h5, and this knight should be fine in this position, and maybe play f3 at some point. But this is kind of why I'm not quite sure about h4, because yeah, you're kind of stopping g5, but again, what is your plan? H5, knight h4 is by g3, or not, never mind. So if knight takes, he has knight e6. It's kind of a cute little move here. If you check, you go bishop d2, and then you go here. You take, I guess you take f8 first, yeah, take f8 first and take b5, and you use a big change. So it's a cute little move here, but doesn't really do anything. Does it, blah blah blah, bishop d2. So, okay, so it goes back. Force play h5 just to get the pawn out. So again, black doesn't want to open up any position here. c3, queen e7. So as we can see, position is actually quite decent here. I think black is perfectly fine. He's probably equal here. White's playing a4, try to kind of stop e5. I really feel like instead maybe white could have tried b4 instead. But I guess like earlier here, like if he had played like here. Like let's say here. Wait, was it here? Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I'm just copying Houdini. Okay, then never mind. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. This is a bad idea. So a4, bishop d7, g3. I think g3 is fine. I guess. White doesn't really have any moves. That's the problem. b6. Block in. He doesn't really want to do anything. Just gonna sit here and wait, and just wait, and just wait. And just wait. So the problem here for white is that if I just do nothing, let's say rook a3, then I can probably, I can probably take on c3, and I'm not quite sure if this is enough, but maybe white can take back with the pawn takes, and now you try and go rook b1, a5 at some point, and kind of stop black from doing this. But it's kind of similar to what happened in the game, except he didn't except black got like a lot more counterplay out of this. Like I think that might be a different way of playing this for white if you want to. Like I'm not quite sure about this evaluation here. I don't really trust this very much, but I feel like this is one way for white to do this, just so he can kind of open it up a bit more. But again, there's no real way for white to win this position, and I don't think black is trying to win this position either, which is why this is a questionable position to play for white, because you have to kind of force your opponent to make some blunders, right? And in these kind of positions, he's a FIDE master. He's not like terribly weak. He's not like a 2000 league player, so he's not going to make some obvious mistakes, or he's not going to just blunder away his stuff. So these positions are tough to win. And if you take a look at some of the other games that were played today, some of the grandmasters, they just have some very open positions, have some very complex positions, and you just understand them a lot better and just beat their opponent very, very easy. But this is not so simple, because there's no real way for white to penetrate here. And playing a5 opens up this position here. I feel like black is actually better after this. So this is kind of similar to what I was talking about. So he takes, he takes e3, takes back, b7, doubles up, very, very natural. So as you can see, black already has a slight advantage. But of course, white's pushing here. Queen 6, queen 7, rook back, rook, queen d7. Not quite sure about this move. I don't know what this does. I think he wants to trade queens out, but come on, like, I don't know why he just didn't play rook b2 here. Such a natural move here. It's such a very, very natural idea. I think the block is just better here, of course, once again. But yeah, I don't know about this move. I think this move is kind of questionable. This move again is kind of like I don't even know like what's going on here. Like why would like why would you even like go there? Like it doesn't make any sense, because black wants to play d4 anyway, and I guess he wants to put his rook to f4 and defend f2, but my knight's kind of controlling a rook here, and last time I checked, the rook is worth more than a knight. So I don't really know what's going on here. Rook a2 kind of makes sense, I guess. Again, I don't know. I guess Rook a2 is not terrible. But yeah, so here apparently White has a really cute tactic, which is playing g4 and playing like this. I think that this could have been an interesting position, and I think if White played this position out, I think he would have been better. If you look at the evaluation of it, yep, White is a bit better. So this is definitely a move that White should have played after giving some thoughts. G4, just kind of a crazy move here. You can't really take on G4 because then, while Queen 6 is first of all, Rook to D4 is probably not that good. Apparently Rook B1 just wins the game, so just Rook F8. So yeah, I mean apparently this just wins. So yeah, he has to take on G4. As you can see, he can also play G6 or G5, but I don't think it kind of opened the position up that much for the king side there. It's very, very suspicious. Again, position is very, very complicated, and as we can see, evaluation changes very, very frequently, which means the position is more complicated than I originally thought. So yeah, there is some room for interesting ideas here, and I think that if Korbel played G4, then he would have been doing fine. But unfortunately, maybe time trouble, maybe he just didn't think that would work. He can go G4. He went Queen C6, thinking that Black would have to trade, but Black obviously does not trade because that's just foolish. So now he plays A5, A6. Again, Rook B1 here would be just been a draw, but again, White does not want to draw, so obviously playing for a win. So now he goes Rook B2, makes sense. So this kind of stops Rook B1. If you don't know what I'm talking about, is basically if you go Rook B1 here, right? And I take this guy and I go here, you have to block with this guy, right? And now I can't go here because of this move, so I go to 98. And now if you go down, okay, first of all, let's show some moves here. King 8 loses. There you go. King F8, just a draw. But here, White loses. So lots of ways for both sides to make mistakes. So just draw. And if you go up, this is the most interesting spot. And apparently, looking at this, 96 is winning because this queen cannot kind of stop that. And if I try the Queen B7, which makes the most sense here, then you just go Queen check, knight here, and now the sick ass move here, Knight E7. Like, would you believe Knight E7? Like, this move is sick. Takes. And apparently, White is winning here because apparently he's getting made, so he's going to be losing a lot of stuff in this kind of complicated position. Obviously, not a very easy position to look at, but when you have a position like this, okay, let's go back a bit more. When you have a position like this, it usually makes sense to kind of just get a feel for the position, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. If you have a feel for the position, you would kind of assume that maybe something was happening here. Maybe you see, like, Black probably sees Rook B1 and the Queen C6, Queen C8, and then D8 check, and he'd be like, huh, this is kind of confusing. So when you get to a very confusing spot, you kind of want to avoid it, even if you can't calculate all of it. Like, I don't think either side will be able to calculate everything, but you just need to kind of have your intuition. You need to have some type of a strong intuition and just be able to figure out right on the spot, whether it feels good or feels bad. If it feels good, then you do it. If it feels bad, you don't do it. That's that's pretty much it. And you train that by doing tactical puzzles. You play a lot of blitz games. You watch some videos. Maybe videos probably are not the best. I never really like videos myself, but hey, I'm doing videos myself right now. So but you just do a bunch of chess stuff. Eventually, you pick a thing up here or there, and things click, and you become all of a sudden a lot of a better. You become all of a sudden a better player than you used to be. That's pretty much what it talks about. So yeah, I mean, just simple as that. So Rook B2. King G1, almost done, folks. Almost done. Rook B6, Queen A4. As we can see, White's actually just getting worse because this knight, even though it's on E6, does not do anything here. It's just garbage. It doesn't really do anything. And Black is very, very careful at this point. He plays pretty well at G4. Oh, Rook B2 first. Yeah, so he doesn't take this guy yet because he doesn't really want to give him counterplay, I'm assuming. I mean, obviously in this position here. Okay, so this is a very, very typical stack. This is a typical stack here. None of that's super strong. So obviously he just wants to avoid that. So he wants to Rook B2 first. Because now, If I do nothing, if I just do jack shit, rook f1, then again you can't take this guy because of queen d7, get your queen in, and some stuff happens. Maybe not nothing much, but some stuff happens. Instead, knight g4 would have been a very strong move. Queen knight takes e3, again forcing white to kind of just sack the exchange here. That would be probably what would happen here. Instead, white plays queen d1, and this actually becomes worse because not only does he have to sack a guy right away, so it goes h6, which is kind of like a nothing really. I mean, this is just a silly move because you're just hoping he would just take an h6, and then you can just sack, and then pick up a pawn here or there, and this knight's super strong. But black is not going to fall for that garbage, so he goes queen h5. He's trying to go queen h2 basically, and that's mate. So he sacks, takes back. Rook h1. So this move, I guess he wants to play rook h4. Now black's conversion is really sick. This is a really sexy conversion. Knight g5. Starting these pawns. He takes rook e8. Unfortunately, this knight doesn't want to go, which is kind of shocking because this knight doesn't want to go. If you go c4, here knight g5, rook e5, and this knight's actually trapped because if I go rook h5, I just take on h6, and yeah, game over. So, funny enough, rook e8 is such a good move. I'm not sure if you saw this combination, but after rook e8, you play f3, and the best move here, these are all the best moves apparently, but this is the best move. Now, this is one of those cases where Houdini does not understand why this is the best move, and he really thinks that, okay, maybe now he sees it. God damn it, Houdini, why are you so smart? Okay, so he sees it now, so let me explain why. This is very simple. He takes back because he has to. You check, he has to go back, and I'm not even going to use Houdini for this. It's so easy. Rook d1, check, and you take this guy. And now what you do next is you just take h6. So what we have here is, if you look at the pawn, is black is actually up a pawn, but more importantly, he has a passed pawn, and just easily create pass pawn h4, maybe even two pass pawns. So white has extra pawn on the king side in the center, but that doesn't really do anything because he has no passed pawn, and this king has nowhere to go. So that's game over. I mean, you can pretty much play a few more moves here if you want. Once the king comes here, black just pushes pawn, and as soon as white's king moves, he takes his pawn, or whatever, h4, YOLO, g3, and good game. So very nice game by black. He didn't really do anything spectacular, but he did play a really strong game. And this is one of those cases where, if you're playing a lower player, you can't give him a position like that where he doesn't have to do anything to get a very easy draw. And Korbov actually pushed too hard. He actually missed a nice g4 move in the between and just got crushed. Got destroyed. Well, this game was pretty good, I guess. If I was looking at the other game, and I'm going to show you one part of this. So this is so sad. This is just a sad game. I really feel for this guy, Danielian. Like, this guy plays his heart out in his very difficult Benoni position here. Let me just get you position here. So he went from here. So this is a position I know very well. We're not even analyze this. I just want to show you the end position here. So this is a very calm position, knight e6. The best move is queen f7. I've actually studied this line with a student of mine. Queen f7 is a very good move here. Playing knight c7 and knight takes d5. It's not very easy to figure out, and actually black is just much worse here at this point, because now the knight's kind of off base. The only thing that black's throwing here is knight c6, so Alianov could have played just queen g4, and that would have been just destroying black, because this knight can move to d7, it can't go to c6, that's, his bishop's not hanging anymore, but unfortunately plays h4, which is terrible, and so black is fine. And got a couple more moves here, blah. Black plays super well here. So we have this position, and white won this position. So how did he win this position? And now if black just wants king e7, it's a draw. Instead, he goes h5, thinking it's a draw anyway. About to offer his opponent a draw, I'm sure, and then his opponent does this to him. Just takes it. Holy cow. Just takes it. Like, wow, such cold blood. This guy's cold. This is why he's a 2700 player. He has cold blood, and he wins this position. So it's brutal. Let me show you why king e7 just draws. I mean, it's so simple. I can't believe this guy didn't get the draw. It's so sad. Just king 7, and the thing is, so if he takes this guy, obviously this time he's winning. I mean, don't even need to be a rocket scientist to see this. I mean, you can just do this move, and queen, and then like check. Oh, like okay. So why loses here? So that's pretty obvious. So the thing is, what happens if he goes, let's say king e5? So now he goes c3 once again, and blah blah. So the thing is, it might look like e6 is winning because you go c2. This is just mate, but you can just go king f7 and goes here. And again, it looks like he's losing, very very close, but it should be just a draw after this. And if you look at the evaluation, it's just equal. White's probably going to maybe get this pawn. If not, white will just check back and forth. And knowing white's, you probably go after the pawn. I mean, okay, plus 0.25 shouldn't be that big a problem. I'm not quite sure if there's any other possibilities here. I feel like, okay, maybe I just suck at chess. So I feel like, yeah, so king d7 just wins. Okay, so I suck at chess. So, okay, let me take a look at this. Okay, let's see here. King 5, c3, okay, f6, no, king 8, so at least I got this move right. King 6, c2, 7, blah blah, 7, blah blah. Okay, so we can transpose. I mean, okay, so this is very likely to be a draw. Much more likely than the other position, of course. But of course, white can still push on. Yeah, too bad. So sad. Very, very sad. Much sadness. Alright, so thank you very much for watching, once again, and I will leave now. This is a very long broadcast. I will leave. Goodbye, and good night.